I'm not really a simulation racing kind of guy. I know nothing about cars. I just want a car that takes me where I need to go. That's it. So I'm not really into games like Gran Turismo or stuff like that because I'm lost. I'm completely lost. I like my racing experiences more arcadey, and obviously Mario Kart fits into that. But Gear.Club Unlimited is not so arcadey that it feels like Mario Kart, and not so simulation focused that it feels like Gran Turismo. And it ends up being something that I really enjoy. It's got a little bit more, well, it's got a good amount more realism than most arcadey games, but not as much as Gran Turismo or Forza. It's got a nice little niche, and I really appreciate that. Gear.Club Unlimited started life as Gear.Club on mobile devices, so yes, this is a revamped mobile game for the Switch, and I know some people will take issue with that. I am not one of those people. I don't have anything against mobile games. You know, as long as the experience is fun, I don't care what platform it's on. But yes, it did start life as a mobile game, but now we have a whole bunch of extra features and bells and whistles and obviously more control options, and there's a really fun game in here. Gear.Club Unlimited really shows its mobile roots when you look at the progression system in the game. So you can level up, and you can get stars, and you can get money, and all this is done through various options. Obviously, the most important one is racing. So you're racing in time trials, and rally races, and lap races, and stuff like that. And depending on how well you do, you'll get some money, and if you complete a tournament or a cup, you'll get money there too. And you'll gain experience, plus you get stars. You can get up to 3 stars per race, depending on if you get first place or not. And stars will open up new spots on the map, and your experience will open up new spots in the garage, and you use the garage to tune your cars up and add new things or do different paint jobs. So there's like little bits and pieces everywhere of things to collect that you need to do in order to really get in the later races, because if you don't have a car that isn't capable of keeping up with the competitors in those races, the game's going to be like, hey, you're a little out of your league here, and you can be like, ah, screw it, I'm going anyway, and you get into the race and you're like, oh my god, what have I done to myself? So you have to go between all these different races all over the map to get the various things that you need to level up and open up more options. And like I said, there's a lot to keep tabs on, but it's all stuff that comes together easily enough. I mean, as long as you're just like racing and you visit the garage a couple times, you'll be completely fine. Now, when you're in the garage, you have a whole bunch of stuff you can do. You can tweak a car that you have. You can bring in a new car you just bought and tweak that one. And we're talking about like tires and engine and gear shifts and stuff like that. There's different paint jobs you can do depending on the car that you have, and then you actually need to expand your garage as well. So you need to get more open space to fit new things in there. There's even like decorations. You can unlock decorations like plants and seating for your garage. I guess if you're really into, you know, making a nice looking garage, because you are going to spend some time in there working on your cars. So I don't know, to each their own. I guess the customization isn't bad. It's just, you know, not something I'm going to do. And then on top of that, you're going to unlock more dealerships by opening up new parts of the map. So you're going to be able to get cars from like the BMW dealership or the Nissan dealership. Yes, there are real cars in this game. There's not like hundreds of them or anything, but yeah, multiple brands are out there. So hopefully people that are into cars will see some things that they like. But yeah, there's just a ton to do between races and working on your cars and buying new cars and time trials and getting all the stars and everything. There's a lot of content here. I haven't even mentioned the daily trials, which put you up against basically everybody in the world that's playing and wants to do one of these challenges. You have, I think it's 24 hours to do a challenge, and it'll be, you know, a specific track, a specific portion of a track, some specific mode. It's different each day, and you have as many chances as you want to try and climb the leaderboards, and you'll be racing like the ghosts of other racers, and depending on how leveled up you are, it'll move you into higher ranks of people. So you're going to have a lot of challenge and a lot of fun there, actually. I was surprised with how much fun I had with that mode. I was expecting to like pop in, give it a shot, and leave, and that was it. But yeah, I kind of got addicted to trying to best people's times, because I'm like, oh, I came in second place, or oh, I just missed first place by like a couple seconds. If I fixed some of the turns or took that corner a little bit differently, I could really make a difference in my overall time. So I kind of got hooked on it, and it took me away from like the main mode for a while, which isn't a bad thing. It's another option that I really like. And like I said, this rotates every day, so that's even better. It's not like there's a week of one challenge and you're like, all right, I'm sick and tired of doing this one. You get a day to show what you can do in these challenges, and obviously you'll gain experience and stuff like that for doing these challenges as well. So it's not like you're just going in for bragging rights. You get something out of them too. One thing that I do think people will be upset about is that there's no head-to-head racing, at least when it comes to online. You can do local multiplayer with up to 4 people, but when it's online play, all you get is the ghost races like I was just talking about. You don't get a mode where you actually have other players online and you're racing each other in real time, so I can understand people being upset about that. The mode that is there does provide a lot of fun, but I wouldn't say it's a substitute for actually going online and playing against people head-to-head, so it's disappointing to see that that's not included, because otherwise there's a lot of great features in the game, and you would think that one would be one that would be included from the start, but I guess because of the mobile origins of the title, that just wasn't in the cards. Most importantly, how's the racing in the game? Again, I don't play a lot of simulation games, but I can tell you what's in here is a lot of fun. And I can tell the difference between racing a car like just out of the showroom and taking that car and tweaking it and taking that back out on the track. You know, if I add different tires or do a different engine or something like that, yes, you get a different feel, and it can be the difference in how well you do in the race. It's not just like, here's a new engine, it's faster. Like, it's more in-depth than that. And I can appreciate that stuff because, again, there are certain races where you're going to need to pick a different car than what you're usually rolling with because it's not going to get the job done. And then on top of that, there's computer-controlled steering if you want it. There's 3 levels of it. And the last one is expert, which means no assistance from the computer, which is how I'm racing because I want to drive. I don't want the computer to do it for me. But if you're not good at driving in video games, then you can have that on to some degree, and it'll help you get a better experience. So there's a lot of options there for you, which is fantastic. And the racing is fun. The game has a great sense of speed, and you might not notice it at first, but you'll hit certain tracks where you're flying and you're like, oh my god, I'm going ridiculously fast. And then like a hairpin turn comes up and you're like, well, I'm screwed. But that's part of the fun, you know, you take a track once or twice and you're like, oh, I gotta learn this a lot better. And then you get an idea for the layout and you go back in and retry it and you do much better. That's all part of the racing experience that I really enjoy. Plus, there's a unique feature here, and I appreciate that it's there, but I didn't use it. You have the option, at least for, I think it's 3 times, to hit a button that will rewind a small portion of the race. So say you take a turn really poorly and crash into a wall and it ruins your race. You can hit that rewind button and it will take you back before that moment. And then when you let go, or when you confirm it, I guess, it says 3, 2, 1, a little countdown, and then it puts you back in the game and you can try again. I think that's a really cool feature, you know, if you're going for a time trial or something like that and you screw up on the last second, you're like, I wanna tweak that. I want to try that again without doing the whole race. You can hit that button and do that. So again, it's not a feature I use, but I thought it was really interesting that it was there because, you know, it takes out a lot of the frustration. If you have a really good race going and you screw up at the last minute and you don't want to restart the whole thing, you don't have to. As far as any drawbacks to the game besides the lack of online head-to-head multiplayer, there are some audio issues that I've experienced, and again, they're not huge, but they did pop up, and one in particular was really interesting. So, minor one first. Sometimes during the loading screen, you'll get like a random really loud revving engine, and then it cuts out, like there's nothing else going on. I don't know why that happens. But the more interesting one I had was I went to start a race and there was no engine noise at all. Now I heard the noise of like the car, like it's like if the car was coasting down the road and the squealing tires. So it was like lots of like wind. And to tell you the truth, I kind of liked it. It was kind of like serene, but obviously it was a glitch, and it didn't stop until I switched to a different car. I went into multiple races and even went out to the menu and back in, and if I was using that same car, that glitch was still there. So I'm sure that's something that will be fixed at a later date. Not a deal breaker, but definitely worth mentioning. And then on top of that, like I said, this is a mobile game, so the graphics aren't the greatest. I'm not really a stickler for graphics. Like, you know, it looks nice enough for me. I'm in it for the fun. I'm just playing it, enjoying it. Cars look like cars. That's good enough for me. But I know some people won't be too keen on the graphics here, so it has to be pointed out. I gotta say, Gear.Club Unlimited really surprised me. I wasn't expecting to be this addicted to the game, but I am. There's just so many things that keep pulling you back into the game, like, I want to tweak my car a little bit more, I can probably get a better time on this lap, or I want to get a few more stars to open up this new section of the world map. And that just keeps happening over and over again. Every time I would finish something, I was like, all right, this is my last objective for the night. I'd do it, and I'd be like, well, let me just go in the shop and see if I can add is. So it kept me coming back, and that's the sign of a good game. And like I said, there's the daily challenges, which are another reason to revisit the game. So there's plenty to do here, and the core game itself is fun. It might not be the most sophisticated game, it might not be the prettiest game, but the core of the game is really enjoyable, and I think that's what games are about, at least for me anyway. I'm having fun with it, so I keep coming back to it. Hopefully you guys feel the same way. If you're on the fence about it, I would recommend this game. I really am enjoying it, and I'm interested to see in how well you can kick my ass out there in the challenges. Hey guys, RMC here from Go Nintendo. If you like what you saw in the video, why don't you give us a thumbs up and maybe even subscribe? We'd love to have you. If you want to see what else we're up to, you can check out GoNintendo.com for 24-hour Nintendo news. You can visit us on Facebook at Facebook.com/GoNintendo. You can check us out on Twitter at Twitter.com/GoNintendoTweet. And we're even over on Instagram at Instagram.com/GoNintendo. I put all the links in the description just to make it easier for you guys to follow. Thanks a lot.